Hey guys, out in the shop messing around. I had a appointment with the clinic today, so I stayed in, and then I got a meeting to go tomorrow. So I was hoping to get out tomorrow, back out to the line, but I come out in the shop, and I told you guys before, since my cancer, I don't smell very well. Well, these two baitsicles, or three baitsicles, I can smell right now. So I think this one was kind of stinky anyway when I got it, but so this is trimmings and bones. Usually I cut them down to put them in these bolt kegs, and then I'll put, you can see the water level in them. If it's got a lot of bones in it, I'll put water in them and just let them sit in here until they get a good stink on, and then I bring them outside. We're getting a little snow today, but as I'm getting older, them 20-gallon cans, and I used to do these totes, but those aren't very user-friendly anymore. Since these are mostly bone, they're not that heavy, but so I don't have near as much, but I've hauled quite a bit out. So, but they work pretty good, and by putting the water in these, it holds together so they can't pull them apart, because it's hard to believe, but those ravens will pack this bait off pretty fast. So but this makes them work a little bit, and it seems to do pretty well. So, but yeah, they smell pretty ripe. And then so what I'll do is I'll bring them out here, freeze them, and then I'll bring them back in, thaw them out for half a day, and then it loosens up from the bucket. Then I bring it back out here and dump them out of the bucket, so I'm not freezing them in the bucket. So I've spent a lot of money on those totes, trying to get that bait out of those totes. So, and it just, I just break them, and then you got plastic all over. So, and then the same thing with these. Usually I get these from the butcher, and then I put these into the buckets. I break them down just because they're easier for me to handle. But anyway, yeah, we're getting a little bit of snow, so that kind of makes me happy. We don't really need any more, but it covers up those tracks, and I like that, so it lays a fresh track. But all right, so a couple things I want to do. I better put this up. But the I've been a little nervous about putting too much gear out, because I was a little bit scared of my doctor's appointment, and the appointment went really well. For those of you that don't know or know me, I had sinus maxillary carcinoma. Hey, I got it. Back in 2015, I believe. And it was some pretty major surgery and to remove the cancer, and then then 6 weeks chemotherapy and radiation. So but anyway, they replaced or took out a big chunk of my lower jaw and replaced it with part of my shoulder, and put some steel in there, or stainless, to hold her together. And my body rejected the metal from day one, and it's been slowly pushing the metal out. So I've ended up pulling out a couple screws, and the plate now, one of the plates on my nose is exposed. Pretty bad. So I was kind of worried about it. I don't know, I used to think I was kind of invincible, but I'm not. And anyway, so the PET scan showed everything's good, and I had a talk with Mayo Clinic today, and my sister backed me up because I don't listen very well. I'd much rather talk than listen. But anyway, he said it was pretty good, and he said it's not a very big process. They'll numb it a little bit, make an incision, take them last two screws out, and pull that plate out of there. And he says we won't have to do a skin graft or anything. It should heal itself. And so that made me unbelievable, extremely happy. So anyway, I told him, well, if it's that easy, I don't know if it's Skyping or a Zoom. It's a Zoom meeting, so I'm talking with the doctor, and I pulled out my pocket knife and said, well, if it's that easy, talk me through it, doc, and flipped out my knife, and he laughed. He probably expected that out of me anyway, but so anyway, tomorrow I'll go find somebody and see if they can't do that, or schedule it anyway. So, but I'm gonna load my machine up just to get ready to go anyway, and even if I don't go, I gotta plow snow, and it plows really well with the weight of the machine on it. So, but I don't know if I showed you guys my my dollies. So you see the dollies that you pick your machine up and put them on, and these ones I built so you drive on, drive off, and it works really well. So even on these big machines. So I got tired of trying to pick them up, and this works really good. The only problem with them is you have to pay attention when you are coming off of them. So so it'll shoot them right out of there. So, and this is I just built these out of some scrap that I had. And then these are bed liner. Remember when the old trucks, they always had plastic bed liners, and so we figured there was a lot of uses for those, and we'd always save them. And anyway, that's a good use for them. But so that's just some 1.5-inch tube steel, and it works. Actually, that's 2-inch. But they work really well. And so I've kind of experimented with them. You can see how long that one is for the long track, but you don't need them to go all the way back here. So this one's pretty short, and it comes to someplace right in here, and it still works just fine. The biggest thing is the casters that you put on them. So I've put some cheap casters on, and that works fine for the small machines, but these machines are so heavy, if you put these cheap ones on there, they don't do very good. These steel ones are all right, but some of those neoprene ones are not. So, but I got the machine all put together, so when I rolled it or flipped it on the ice, I broke the cowl here, and I just did the old put some piece of aluminum behind it and pop rivet it. But I ordered this plastic welder, and I was just too impatient to wait for it, so. Easy, honey. Easy. Hey. And then I don't know if I told you guys that I don't use my parking brake when I leave here. Man, I've had some issues over the years. When I get out to the parking lot, 50 miles away, of that parking brake not wanting to come off. So anyway, smells a little better in here after getting rid of that damn all right. Oh, better check on my snares. So I'm boiling some snares, some wolf snares. Looks like they're boiling. This is I got this turkey baster for free, but the thing I didn't like about it's got a timer on it. And so it shuts off. I don't remember how long it is, but it ain't near long enough. So I put a piece of tie wire on it to hold the valve open. So the timer, I couldn't figure out how to bypass the timer. So, but it was for free, and I think I have about 4 of these dang things. So let's turn that down. We don't need to boil that hard. But I got 3 dozen wolf snares in there, and then I got 2 dozen other ones to do. So, and then so this is what Temple was talking about when you're backing up all the time. And you can see this one right here. The plastic ones never last. The first time you back up, when it's cold out, they break. But so when you've got studs, and I'm not talking screws that the guys are putting in these holes here, but these real studs right here, when you back up, especially down off these ramps, this suspension will come up and the ass of the snow machine will come down, and when this gets under there and those studs grab it, you'll actually smoke a belt trying to back that thing up because it'll lock it up. So you just put a bungee cord on there and suck it up like that. But okay, and my dumb ass, you gotta hook this up right away, or I'll forget about it. So yeah, I'm getting excited to go back out. So it's kind of funny. I was actually kind of down, and not much of a worry wart anymore, but I was just a little bit scared of this last scan, and it's a pretty big relief. Okay, there should be gotta put the Coulee Lake signs back up. Missing a ratchet strap. Huh. I'll be damned. Son of a gun. I swear, I'd lose my nuts if they weren't in that handy little sack. So, but then when I tie this out, I tie my ramps at the same time. Pull these up so I don't trap them. I'll end up hauling a bunch of bait out with me when I go. So, but and then I welded up my my snare pole. So before I had it kind of crimped in there and that's how it worked. But so when we were out there and I was trying to do that lynx, I couldn't figure that dang thing out. And now I got it. So it's a pretty simple design. Just an old wolf snare. And I just took a piece of rebar but yeah, that works pretty dang good. So I've actually never seen a factory one, so I just kind of seen what they looked like, and that's what I built. So bungee cords, something else for you guys. See, I always put ropes, everywhere to grab onto, but as you get older, it's no fun to bend over to pick that rope up. So I got this with a deer stand or a harness or something, but it was a deer drag. And this works really good. I mean, you could do this with a piece of rope or whatever, but for just